Well, Ann, it's very nice to have a chance to meet you, particularly here in New Orleans, to talk a little bit about your life and your career and Hero at Large. I wonder, did you know John Ritter before you got into this film together?
No, we had never met. I met him in the director, Marty Davidson's office. I did 5 improvisations with John that day when I met him, and that's how I got the part. And I had never met him before. In fact, I wasn't even really that aware of him because I hadn't watched his show that much. I have an acting class the same night his show's on the air, and I have for a number of years, so I really wasn't that aware. Finally, I was so embarrassed, I went home and I taped the show so that I could watch it. And a reporter printed that in the paper, and John called me at home after he read the paper the next day, and he said, "Oh, Ann, it's so nice to work with an actress who loves me for just me," when he realized I didn't know him before. It was great.
You and John have something in common, though, in your lives, in that he is the child of a famous father, performing father, and you're the daughter of Marjorie Lord. Of course, everybody knows from the Danny Thomas Show. Have you and John ever discussed that similarity in your lives?
Not terribly. I think that his father and his kind of career was quite different from my mother's in an interesting sort of way. So not really. It's just that as he would tell stories, I would recognize the lifestyle a little bit, and I probably vice versa. But his father had a kind, male stars sometimes create a kind of stir that women stars don't create. So he really grew up with a lot more attention, I think, focused on his father than I did on my mother.
Did you ever have an identity crisis, though, because your mother was Marjorie Lord?
No, not in any way whatsoever, really. She and I were always very close, and I was very proud to have a mother that was an actress and in the limelight. I thought that was very glamorous when I was a child, and so I liked that. I really enjoyed having her for a mother, and she always had such a love for me and an appreciation for my qualities that I felt special. I always felt very special.
Do you think, Anne, that some children of famous people use that identity crisis thing as a cop-out?
I don't know. Not having been there, and I haven't been close to anyone, no, I don't think so. If they feel that they're having a problem defining themselves because of an extremely famous parent, I'm sure it's valid. My mother wasn't as well known. She wasn't a major movie star the way, as some other children have a different experience, I guess, because their parents will be major movie stars. And my mother wasn't, so I didn't experience that really. And I don't know. I guess it is true that there can be a crisis in that area.
Do you find John Ritter is like the image we all have of him, because he's the all-American boy and he's up and positive? Excuse me. Do you find that he really is that way, or does he have some other qualities we don't get to see?
Well, I think he's very much like the character he plays in the film. He's a very, very sweet and very sensitive person, a very humorous person. He also has a very serious side, a very committed side to his work. He gives everything of himself. He has no ego problems. He shares the limelight graciously. He insists upon sharing the limelight, as a matter of fact. And so he's very special in that way. I think that when you work with a person on a day-to-day basis, you really know their quiet side and their serious side, and that's also very nice because they're very well-rounded for you then.
Are you anything like the woman you portray in the film?
Oh, I think that there's a whole side of me that is like that. There are whole other aspects to me that you don't see in that picture, a darker side, a more pensive, introspective side, a more serious side. I don't think I'm neurotic in any way, except in a healthy sense. You know, whatever about me is a little eccentric, I suppose, is there that you don't see in this picture. But you certainly see a whole side of me that's very real, absolutely.
What is one eccentric thing that you do or have, Anne?
Oh, dear. I never should have said that. What's one eccentric thing? I don't know if I could think of one without thinking for a minute, but I'm sure I have them.
We all do. We all
Yes.
do. And it's been fun having this chance to meet you and talk with you. And good luck with your career, and special good luck with Hero at Large.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne.
I enjoyed talking with you. Thank you.
He's my good friend.
Is he really? Well, Martin is my godfather. And I went all through school with his daughter. And when they moved to Dallas, I would come see them from time to time. And of course, they have the apartment in Los Angeles, so we see them quite often. We're very, very close. It's really incredible. I met them the first time when I was 6 years old, and they lived in New York. My mother had known them for years, and I stayed with them in New York, and then they moved to Los Angeles. In fact, I used to live with them a lot of the time when my mother would go out of town. Isn't that something?
Oh, okay, when I finish this, I'll tell you something. Okay, now I'll do the questions. All right. And you and John Ritter, excuse me, and you and John Ritter both are the children of famous parents. Did you know one another before you got into this movie?
Do I need to answer that?
You both are the children of famous parents. But have you ever had a chance really to discuss that similarity in your lives? And did you ever have an identity crisis because you were the daughter of famous star Marjorie Lord? Do you think sometimes that children of famous parents use that identity crisis thing as a cop-out? And you find John Ritter is anything like the image we have him, you know, the all-American boy, very positive, very up. Is he like that, or is there another side to him that we don't see? Are you anything like the woman you portray in Hero at Large? Okay, now I'll look into the camera and give you a sign-off. Okay? I'm going to look right into it. Okay. And this is Bobbie Wygant with United Artists Pictures in New Orleans for Channel 5 Action News.